Hello everybody, it's me, G417 here. It's been a long time since I made a video. Apologies on that. I know you've probably been frustrated with my lack of posts, for those of you who actually like my posts. Well, before I get into it, I'm going to say that the reason I haven't been posting for a while is because of technical difficulties. I switched to GUVCView on Linux, and it didn't pan out. So I switched back to Cheese, which is another free Linux program for your webcam. For those of you who are familiar with Windows webcam, those of you who use it, Windows comes with the software already installed. Linux does not, so you have to get it yourself. Okay. That's not even the main point, but now let's get into it. What I want to talk about today is an experience I had. This is not the I used to be a Christian. This is a political thing. Last year, roughly around August or October, it's in between those 2 months, I went to an event, not a political event exactly, but it was an Elizabeth Warren event. And I know, because I looked at some of my subscribers, that one of them is a viewer of Mike Figueredo. I do like the guy, but I don't exactly agree with him, and I gotta tell you, a good portion of my disagreements are largely just pet peeves. And maybe a few serious disagreements, too. On veganism and gun rights. But that's just about it. On everything else, I agree. I cannot say I 100% agree, but I agree. Okay. Well, at this Elizabeth Warren event, first of all, at the time, I mistaked it for a Bernie Sanders event, and on top of that, I mistaked it for going to an actual caucus. Because I heard the word event, and I automatically drawed the conclusion of a caucus. I'm one of those people who automatically comes up with the wrong conclusion at times. It can be really frustrating for those who know me. Well, at this event, it basically was kind of a potluck event, and it was a wealthy household. It wasn't like billionaires. That'd be impossible, actually. I wouldn't say that they're not even close to millionaires. I would just say that they have thousands of dollars and can afford a house. The kitchen's kind of cramped. Big house, cramped kitchen. I don't understand how that happened, but it happened. Anyway, we walked straight upstairs. We brought chairs with us because they advised us to do that, which aided my misunderstanding at the time. Well, the people were friendly. It's a relevant. I wouldn't say it's relevant information. I'm just going to say that this is just present information. The couple was a lesbian couple, and they were wealthy. They were supporters of Elizabeth Warren. This was pre-Elizabeth Warren attacking Bernie in the vicious manner she has. I have my thoughts on that I intend to share later. At this event, basically, me and my sister, we were both there. We were bored because it's just watching a debate, but we were listening to it while we were eating, and we were listening to some vicious attacks by some, what I think was a Latina-sounding lady. She was trying to tear into Bernie pretty hard. My sister was responding, "Who is the lady attacking that grandpa?" That was actually her response. I happen to agree. She sounded kind of like a bitch. I mean, I don't know how she acts when she's not on stage, but I don't think I want to find out. And I don't think I'd ever want to find out if she were ever in the White House. But at least Bernie Sanders stayed on message. This was like last year. I know I said that, but sometimes people's mind snaps back to the present and they forget. So every so often I'm going to sprinkle in a reminder that this was not 2020 at the time. It was the past. And this is a prior experience. Well, this was a potluck style event. Mostly everyone was just sitting around, and for me it was kind of uncomfortable being in a wealthy house because I've never been in a wealthy house. But the people were nice. So don't get any terrible, mortifying images in your head. They were nice. I disagree with Mike about all billionaires being evil, because there's just no way every billionaire can be that bad. Maybe, okay, Jeff Bezos, yes. The Waltons, okay. The entire fast food industry, I'll accept that. But I'm talking about the ones that really did make their way up all by themselves and didn't and never have skimmed their workers and do pay their employees a fair and livable wage. And they're still making billions. I'm sure Mike will greatly love debunking and tearing this video apart. He is welcome to do so. I would welcome the attention. Because he's got some serious weight on his channel, subscriber count and likes. Therefore, if he acknowledges my, existence, or any of the major YouTubers were to, well, that would be good for me. Even if it was for a negative reason. Again, it'd still be good for me. Trying to grow my channel, and I'm it's a work in progress. I'll figure this out. So, seeing as how this is a variety channel, I'm talking about politics right now. So I'm going to continue on with that. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Anyway, later on, I'm just going to fast forward here. After the event with Elizabeth Warren, or rather, about Elizabeth Warren, not actually with her. We weren't actually at a main event. I had questions I wanted asked, and any of you who've seen my videos before know that my major question is probably going to be net neutrality. It's an issue that is personally important to me because, well, I like to play video games. I'm a bit of a perv, so I love the internet and Pornhub and X videos and a few other porn sites. If you don't like that, well, there are other YouTube channels you can go to. I'm for a specific set of audience. But if you do want to stay, regardless of my annoying habits, you're welcome to do so, and I appreciate it. I'm hearing voices in the background, so I'm kind of distracted right now. This is not total news coverage, as you might imagine, but that's just in case some random person decides to skip ahead. Okay. At this event, afterwards, I had the question about net neutrality, and in my question, I was just simply asking what her position was. And also, assuming her position was favorable and she was for net neutrality, what's she going to do to reinforce it? Well, I couldn't go to the event, which was set up at a coffee shop, more noise in the background. I don't think you can hear it because the speakers are facing me, but I can hear it and it's very distracting. Okay, good. Okay. Basically, my mother had to go, and FYI, she's dependent on me financially now because she can't work. Kidney failure, pretty bad. But she's doing pretty good considering her situation. We just have to keep her away from potassium and salt. My question regarding net neutrality was pretty simple. Is you heard it before, where she stands and her policies to protect it and to enforce it. Well, anyway, my mother went there, and she came back and told me Elizabeth's position, which was just sad. And not boo-hoo depressing, more like sarcastic depressing, like British person depressing. Depression. Like, oh, that's just sad. Sarcasm. Because you can't even really shed a tear because you don't expect much of her in the first place. She actually said that she has not done any research on net neutrality. Or rather, she didn't say it directly, but more indirectly. Because these people were going to ask her questions for us. And then I find, oh, she doesn't understand the issue of net neutrality. She hasn't researched it. She doesn't know anything. She hasn't even tried to. And this is the person who's supposed to be the alternative to Bernie. It took a long time to get there, but we got there. Now, this is a woman who only haphazardly did some research on various subjects, I assume. I'm assuming Medicare for All, she only knows like half the information. I mean, if the net neutrality issues any indication, she probably doesn't know anything. And probably can't do anything. And then, later on, several months later, up into the new year, she accuses Bernie of, quote, saying a woman can't win. First of all, Bernie would never say that, and anyone who knows anything about Bernie knows he'd never say that. Why? Watch a video of Bernie, and watch a few videos of Bernie, and I won't have to tell you anything, you'll just know it for yourself. The guy is pure empathy. Basically, he's distilled empathy put into the form of a human being. He's empathy itself. Like that old little saying, nothing to fear but fear itself. Well, Bernie is empathy itself in human form. He is the avatar of empathy in America. And he's running for president. So, even if you're a Republican, even if you're a conservative, right-winger, gun-toting, gun-loving right-winger, which apparently on YouTube, in the comment sections of various other YouTubers, I've been finding there are liberal gun lovers. They exist. The conversation is actually interesting. I'm often concerned that they're going to have to knock on wood or something. Because I don't know which ones I'm talking to. I can't tell, and any event that they are, in fact, the anti-gun crowd, I'm telling them that my opinions are going to haunt them or something like that in the comments. And anyone who's ever seen me, GFish17 in the comments, I warn you, my spelling sucks. I haven't spelled in a long time. I've been out of school, and most of my life has been spent at work. I'm not going to tell you the place I work, but I really want to. Let's see if you can guess where I work based on this description, and then I'll explain why I'm not saying its name. It's the stupidest reason, but it's a reason that will affect me. Okay. It's a soul-sucking experience. You kind of want to be hit by a car after you work there long enough. In fact, being hit by a car looks pretty good, actually. And that's after working there for a few years. My position at the place is a pretty important one, as is many positions at that same place, but our higher ups don't seem to recognize that, unless they're giving us a pep talk, that is. And that's when they're not coaching us. Oh, and my place of work has been referenced in many movies, usually in comedy form. And we're the kind of people who, when we look at you, we look like we want to die. Or when we smile, it just looks so fake that's kind of disturbing. But you can tell we're forcing it, and it's like a perma smile, but it's a smile that's not even sincere by, crazy standards. It's just there. And a deep resentment of our job. Very deep resentment. If you guessed a certain specific location that I will not name, in the comments section below, congratulations, you got it right. Now, I'm going to tell you the reason I can't name the place and why it is the place that shall not be named if you dare to speak ill of it. Because there's a policy. Yeah, I only heard about this policy once in my training modules. Basically, they were saying that if you're gonna work at Walgreens, no, you probably already figured it out. Anyway, but no, the place essentially is like, if you're gonna work there, don't say anything ill of it because you're an employee there. Therefore, if you say something ill of it, then maybe you just don't like your job. Maybe you want to not work there anymore. So don't attack your place of employment, even if it deserves it. Can't even slack off during the dead hours. And I'm sure some of you in the crowd are like, wait, once did this become a video about a specific location? Oh, that's when I was done talking about Elizabeth Warren being stupid. I should probably stop here because I already spoke my main point. But vote Bernie Sanders. Caucus was yesterday. I'm recording this on the day the caucus happened, so for me it's today, but for you, the viewer, it's either yesterday or way later, depending on when you're viewing this video. But Bernie Sanders, any decision he makes will be based almost entirely upon empathy. He has more empathy than Donald Trump has money and wigs for his head, because I know that that's not real hair on his head. If you want in-depth coverage, then please go to Mike Figueredo, David Pakman, or Kyle Kalinske on The Secular Talk. These people are the best. You probably already know who they are. If you're watching this, I probably showed up in your search list because I typed in Warren on the title. But yeah, the event I was at was relatively tiny. It wasn't a stadium. It wasn't some big event. It was some tiny little in-home potluck event, like a micro event, you could say, and at a generous rich couple's house. There was a lot of good food there. No one was touching my mother's food because it was super spicy. So I ended up eating it, even though I didn't really quite enjoy it. But that's because I wanted less to carry when it came to going down the stairs from the living room. And for those of you wondering, I live in Newton, Iowa, where the caucus happened, but the caucus didn't happen in Newton, Iowa. I don't know where it happened. I don't even know how to canvass. You want to know my sheer level of ignorance? Politically, I'm illiterate. I'm politically illiterate, mathematically illiterate, scientifically semi-literate, and more of a video game kind of guy. And if you can make a video game on a subject, I might actually learn something. Assuming you put a lot of thought into that game, that is. Because the gameplay itself has to explain stuff. Well, I'm going to be posting another video, of course, on a different subject entirely. And see you later. Next, I'm talking about Westworld, Season 3. Enjoy.